At every turn where there was an opportunity to really see my partner and really listen to what she was telling me or what her needs were, I would flip that around and recenter my own needs. Because in my lack of emotional intelligence and my lack of friendships and community, I was relying on my partner to be the person who held all of my emotional needs. And so if she brought something that was uncomfortable to me, I expected her to then hold that as well and then fix it for me. So she was incentivized by my own behavior, my own coercion, to not show up as her authentic self. What do you do about that? Like how do I now, all these years later, look back and say, oh, I was a good-willed person? That's kind of irrelevant. I was a shitty partner. And so the only moving forward is to acknowledge that. The Kubler-Ross stages of grief and dying, DABDA, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance framework of how someone moves through a death. It fits with my experience of being married now for 18 years and trying to reconcile with all the shitty things that I did. At first, I was not going to accept this. It's like, there's no way that's how bad you could be hurting if I tried so hard. And then I was angry about it. Like, what do you mean you might leave? Like, what are you talking about? We can work through this. Like, you weren't speaking up for your needs, even though she was. Then the bargaining. Like, okay, what do I need to do here? Like, you've been digging this trench for, a decade and a half, almost 2 decades. Let me get a shovel. I'll just dig all day, 24/7, night and day, as fast as I can. But there's a depression that you realize that's not how it works. My journey, really working hard, a year and a half out of 18 and a half years being married is a drop in the bucket. And so now I'm finally coming to this place of acceptance that, I can heal. I can be a better person. I can be a better partner. But ultimately, it may not matter. I would love for nothing more than for me to be by her side in a true partnership, not a state of emotional dependence on her. But at the end of the day, the thing I want most for her is for her to thrive. And that is something that in our 2 decades of being together, I honestly can't say that I truly wanted for her if it meant that I wasn't part of it. How does one change your mindset? Especially a man who is stuck in the former way of thinking. How do you turn the light bulb on? This credit goes to this sheer perseverance of my partner. Like, she's a super, super smart, intelligent person. She didn't have to stick it out. But for reasons that really have more to do with her dedication to our kids, she has stuck it out. And I finally figured it out. I don't know what that will mean for us, but any credit for figuring anything out must be given to her first. Number 2, mindset for me didn't actually change until very recently, permanently. And when that light bulb turned on, it turned on for good. It illuminated not just the room I was in, but the whole house and the whole neighborhood. And here was what it was. It was the death of being transactional. Everything I had done in my whole life had been trying to earn somebody else's approval through my own behavior. And that is not how love works. Love is not transactional. I had poor theology that told me that it was. So even when my partner started putting up really healthy boundaries and I went into overdrive, finally realizing how badly I'd hurt her, I was still doing that. And I wouldn't have admitted it because I wouldn't have even known it, but I was still doing it out of a sense of centering me. I still wanted the outcome that I wanted, which was a happy, healthy marriage. And I wasn't taking into consideration my partner, who was so hurt that asking her to work on a marriage that had been so traumatic was actually causing further pain. So it wasn't until I let go of that outcome completely, like, oh wait, I can't ask that in good faith of somebody that I love. I just have to show up for this person regardless of what they can give back to me, that it finally clicked. You're absolutely right. When you have failed somebody, when trust has been broken, you're no longer meeting in the middle. The person who has broken the trust has reparation work to do. I think that many of us men do not even realize when we have broken trust, because so many of the ways we've been socialized and we understand life to be are an affront to humanity. And I'm going to say humanity, not to women, to humanity. We have betrayed ourselves at a constant and deep level in such a way that we don't understand anymore that life should be pleasurable, that you can have collaboration instead of competition, that it's okay to say, I don't know, like to have a level of humility, right? And so whenever my partner would bring something up to me that I didn't understand, instead of saying, hey, I don't understand, can you explain that more? I would push back and say, no, actually, you're the one that doesn't understand. And you can imagine how well that went. But beyond that, even when, and on the occasions where I did ask questions, it oftentimes felt like in our particular dynamic where she had so much more social skill, so much more life experience the time we were married at 21, that it felt like in many capacities she had to coach me and raise me in some ways. I did not bring a reciprocal amount of value to the relationship. I thought I was bringing reciprocity. I thought the things I was bringing by teaching her essentially how to function within a patriarchal system was valuable, when in fact, not only was that counterintuitive to her, it was actually counterproductive to everything that she stood for. So I thought, well, here I am, just being a man and standing up for the things that I believe in, and I'm showing her how to function in this world that we as men built. Well, guess what? The world that men built, it's shitty. The things that we are bragging about are not things to be proud of. And I didn't get this as a young man. And so in so many ways, when I would place my own interests and my own priorities above hers, above the kids, above the families, and thought, well, isn't everybody doing that? No, not everybody's doing that, including your partner. Your partner is not doing that. Your partner's not coming to you and saying, here's just what I feel like doing. She's saying, here's what I think would be beneficial to you and I both as a family unit. Here's what I would like to do because I can see that it would be helpful for our children to live healthier, more whole lives. It's not just a matter of an opinion. It's a matter of taking community into account and then prioritizing that community, where everything I had learned as a boy was to prioritize me. Like, this is not rocket science. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. But unfortunately, I did not see it for quite a long time.